Where is the Pokemon news, Game Freak? Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games, and today I want to talk about the possibility of a Pokemon Presents, a Pokemon Direct, if you will, happening in the very near future, in August even, and also just kind of talk about Pokemon and the state of the franchise as a whole, because this has been, I would say, one of the longest droughts of information when it comes to Pokemon in a long time. We're not getting any new game announcements, we're not getting any spin-off announcements, we're not getting even like mobile information has been very sparse recently. So today I wanted to talk about why a Pokemon Presents really does make sense to air in August, or at least in the very near future, maybe early September or something. Because this really has been just a very quiet year for Pokemon. Even last year was pretty quiet, but at least we did have the Scarlet and Violet DLC. We had Detective Pikachu Returns, which obviously flopped, but it was something, right? There was something to look forward to. And then earlier this year in February, one Pokemon Day, as we always get, we got Legends EA announced, we had the Pokemon TCG Pocket app announced, but ever since then, ever since February, it has been very, very quiet. Well, the reason I'm talking about a Pokemon Presents is because, well, first of all, yes, obviously, been very quiet. We're very much due for some Pokemon information, but also, we almost always get a Pokemon Presents in August. In fact, if you look at a history list of every Pokemon Direct or Pokemon Presents, ever since they switched to doing a Pokemon Presents format, like they dropped the Direct branding, except for 2020, every year after that, so 2021, 2022, and 2023, we've had a Pokemon Presents in February, as we expect on Pokemon Day, but the second one of the year has happened in August every single time. August 18th, 2021, August 3rd, 2022, and August 8th, 2023. So it seems to me that the Pokemon Company has kind of found its groove when it comes to marketing events, and I suspect that will continue, and we will likely get a Pokemon Presents in August. But what information will that Pokemon Presents contain? Even without talking about Legends EA just yet, there's still Pokemon TCG Pocket, which is slated for this year, and I don't believe they've had any more updates on since February, and that should be a pretty big deal, having an application where you can just crack packs on the go. Feels like a no-brainer for Pokemon Company. I'm not sure if that'll really catch one, but within the diehard like TCG collecting crowd, I imagine that application will do pretty good on phones this year. Not really for me, but I imagine they do need to give an update on that and an actual release date, especially if it does get delayed or something. But I think it'll make it for this year. Now, something I had been talking about ever since February was the possibility of there being another mainline game or maybe even a spin-off releasing this year. But now that we know, or at least have a pretty good idea, that Ilka, the developers of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, now that we have a pretty good idea that they are likely the developers behind the Mario and Luigi Brothership game, I will take the L on there being another mainline game. I guess it's not impossible. They could announce it in August and release it in November. We're seeing Nintendo announce Famicom Detective Club in July and releasing it literally a month later. So I guess it's not too late for them to announce a mainline Pokemon game, but I'm pretty much I'm good on that. Like I've accepted my defeat when it comes to that idea. People thought I was crazy, and I guess I was. So I won't keep, harping on that. But is it possible they could announce an actual like premium spinoff this year for maybe an early 2025 release, or maybe even like, the November, December timeframe? Normally Nintendo has a game release the week before Black Friday, and this year they don't have one. They have Mario and Luigi Brothership 2 weeks before, but there is a kind of suspicious gap, I believe, on November 16th, I want to say, November 17th this year, which is normally when a Pokemon game releases. My gut tells me we should be getting a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game soon. However, Spike Chunsoft did just release the Shiren the Wanderer game. I think it's Shiren the Wanderer 6, which is like the original Mystery Dungeon series. So maybe it's too soon for a Mystery Dungeon game unless it's another remake, or could there be another spinoff entirely? Modern day Pokemon has been really kind of frustrating to follow when it comes to spinoffs, because ever since they got a taste of that mobile pie, they've just been really focusing on free-to-play games and microtransactions. Of course, Pokemon Unite still going, Cafe Remix, Pokemon Masters EX. So the pessimistic part of me just wants to say, like, yeah, I think they're maybe kind of done, at least generally speaking, with like the premium $60 retail Pokemon spinoff, especially after how well Detective Pikachu Returns did, or didn't do, I guess I should say. We don't know exact sales numbers for that game, but I'm pretty sure it sold under 1 million copies, which for a Pokemon game is abysmal. Even a Pokemon spinoff, that should never happen. So I wonder if they're looking at that and just thinking, well, do we really want to keep releasing these $60 or $50, retail Pokemon spinoffs when we could allocate this dev time to more mobile games and more free-to-play games, even if they do release on Switch, that have microtransactions? That's the pessimistic side of me. I really want to see more premium spin-off games. Even though I didn't love new Pokemon Snap, I would still love to see more of that, or maybe a new Pokken Tournament, or just something else entirely. Bring back Pokemon Ranger. I'm not one of those people that like needs that game to come back, but just something, you know, that isn't free to play, that is a Pokemon game, that isn't a mainline Pokemon game. I sorely miss the age of the DS and even the 3DS era, where we were getting, like, honestly, more Pokemon spin-offs that were really high quality. We were getting more of those than mainline games at a certain point, and I miss that era of Pokemon. I guess it's just kind of, you know, how it is now, with mobile being a major factor and a major part of the Pokemon company's business. But I would like to see more actual Pokemon spin-offs release in the near future. I'm not going to predict it, though, because honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. But let me know in the comments below. Do you think there is a chance that we have another Pokemon spin-off coming to the Switch still in the near future? Could it be announced in an August Presents? I would love to get a conversation on that going down below. But what about Legends EA itself? So this is obviously the thing we're all anticipating. I cannot wait for this game. I'm very information starved on it because they announced it in February. They announced it for a 2025 release. Most people think it'll be early 2025, similar to Legends Arceus. That game was released in January 2022. And I tend to agree. I do think it is likelier that it releases in the first half of 2025. However, why didn't they just say early 2025? If you remember, when Legends Arceus was announced, that game was announced for early 2022, and they stuck to it, and it came out in January. Maybe they just didn't want to lock themselves into a corner with Legends EA with a specific time frame, because they're seemingly really taking the criticisms of Scarlet and Violet and modern Pokemon in general. They seem to really be taking that criticism to heart, and hopefully taking their time and working out a lot of the issues the recent games have had. But if Legends EA doesn't come out until next holiday 2025, that is an unprecedented 3-year gap between mainline games. So on the one hand, their marketing and their messaging of the time frame that this game will release is kind of sus. It makes me think maybe it'll be later next year, because Pokemon in the holiday, that is just, you know, a recipe for success. It always works out. So maybe they would just wait until November 2025 to release Legends ZA as the big holiday title for Switch 1 next year. I don't think this game's gonna be cross-gen, by the way. I don't really need to get into that. Pokemon Game Freak, they're usually pretty late to the party. Even if Switch 2 is out at that point, which I do think it will be, I imagine Legends ZA will still be a Switch 1 only game. Maybe it runs a little bit better on Switch 2 just inherently, but I don't think there'll be like a Switch 2 SKU for that game. So maybe that's next holiday. But even if that's the case, I still think we will see it again this year. Because why did they announce it? You know, why did they feel the need to announce that game in February if they weren't going to show it for a whole other year? Has that ever happened with a Pokemon game where they announced it and don't even show it again for another year? I don't think so. I can't think of any other time that's happened. So even if it's not coming out until next Christmas, I think we will see it again this year. Be that in an August Pokemon Presents, be that even in a regular September Nintendo Direct. I know Pokemon has been kind of hit or miss when it comes to showing up in regular Nintendo Directs these days. But if you remember, last June, or June 2023, I should say, Detective Pikachu Returns was actually shown off for the very first time and kind of announced in that Nintendo Direct. So I don't know if the rule that Pokemon doesn't pop up in regular Nintendo Directs, I'm not really sure if that rule holds true. And maybe if it's a lighter Nintendo Direct, maybe Nintendo is just like, hey, Pokemon Company, we really want to show Legends ZA in this Nintendo Direct, and they'll be like, okay, sure, why not? That could be a great closer or opener even for the September Direct. So yeah, I'm just really excited at the prospect of more Pokemon news coming in the very near future. I truly hope that does end up happening in August. I think there's plenty of reasons to think it will. Even, like I said, even if Legends EA isn't until late next year, having an August Presents to outline their launch plans for Pokemon TCG Pocket, give us a little update on Legends EA, maybe announce the starters for that game, and then maybe announce 1 or 2 more things. Maybe they give a little preview of Pokemon Concierge Season 2, right? They just, I think, confirmed Season 2 of that is happening over at Netflix. Maybe they have some other anime updates. I know they don't normally do Pokemon TCG, like actual card game updates in this, but there was that like really deluxe premium collection they announced, I believe, in the last one or the one before that. So maybe they have more Pokemon TCG stuff that's not the mobile app. Of course, there's always updates on Cafe Remix and Masters EX and all that, so they can have more updates there. Pokemon Presents, very rarely are they actually like really good, but there's always that one thing that gets me excited. And even if that is just a Legends EA update this time, I will take it, because man, I'm starved. I absolutely cannot wait for this game. As you all know, if you watch my channel for a long time, Pokemon X and Y are not my favorite Pokemon games, but they are definitely up there next to Gen 5. I love X and Y so much. And the idea of getting an open world or, you know, Legends Arceus style game set in Kalos or in Lumio City, I guess, as we know, it's kind of maybe set entirely in Lumio City. That's crazy. That prospect to me and getting more lore from, you know, AZ and Zygarde and all this stuff, like that is so exciting to me, because I feel like Kalos did not get the chance it deserves without having a proper sequel or third version back on the 3DS. So Legends EA is like literally best case scenario Pokemon game for me right now. I just want to see more of it. I want to see what it means to be, you know, entirely set in Lumio City. That's what I'm really excited about, and I want to see those starters too. Like I don't even know where to begin with predictions for that. I guess they wouldn't do any generations that were represented in Legends Arceus probably, so I don't know. I'm sure people have like kind of deduced what it would be based on that criteria, but maybe they won't follow any criteria at all. I don't know. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think we are due for some Pokemon news? Do you think we are due for a Pokemon Presents in August? I certainly do think so. I think we will be getting one probably very early August. I think they're always in the first half of the month. Looking at a calendar real quick, it looks like in the past they've been on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, so hard to predict an exact date, but if I just had to, you know, throw a dart at the board right now, I would say maybe, honestly, like Tuesday, August 6th, Tuesday the 13th, Thursday the 8th, Thursday the 15th, somewhere in that range, that 2-week period, we should be hopefully getting some Pokemon news, because it's really time to start marketing Legends EA, even if it is later next year, like I've been saying. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news, reviews, discussions, all of that fun stuff, Pokemon coverage, all of that. It's been a while since I've talked about Pokemon on the channel, and I've been sorely missing it because there just hasn't been news. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, folks, peace!